Good morning, YouTube. Okay, so in preparation for the Android application development course, I have decided to put together two videos for the Android JDK API install along with Java, everything you need in order to do Android development. And so the two videos, one is going to be for a demonstration on how to do it on a Mac. The other one is going to be for demonstration on how to do it on a Windows machine. I'm going to demo it on a Windows XP machine, and I'm doing it from a MacBook. However, I have a Windows Parallels desktop application installed for a virtual machine. What you're looking at in front of you is a Windows XP virtual machine that I'm going to install this into. So this video pertains to the Windows install, and the same instructions, well, same process, different instructions for both platforms. So if you're on a Windows box, you definitely found the right instructions for Windows. We're going to need three items. We're going to need the Java JDK, we're going to need the Android API, and we're going to need some sort of an IDE to utilize both of these, and I've chosen Eclipse as the IDE integrated development environment of choice only because it's really easy and it's free, and it's quite nice. So we'll see. Actually, I'll demo it to you as well, so you'll see how that works. So let's get started. The first step is to download and install Java. I would check first to see if you have Java installed before going through the process of downloading it. It's really easy to check. Go to a DOS prompt, and I've created a little icon here on my desktop. So you need both the JDK and the runtime JVM, runtime engine. So if I type in Java, I got Java is not recognized as an internal external command. If I type in Java C, I've got Java C is not recognized. So Java C is the JDK, Java is the JVM, which you might actually have Java. If you have just the regular old JVM, that's fine. You can leave it alone. You don't have to uninstall it. If you've got a version of Java on here and it's below, well, below what we're going to run into in a few minutes, then you're probably going to want to upgrade it. If so, don't uninstall it, just upgrade it. If you come up with this, then you're at the starting point where you don't have anything installed. And I kind of did this just to make sure I did not have anything installed. So I do not have Java installed in this virtual environment because I get a bad command or file name here. It's not recognized, which is good. I don't want it recognized. It's not installed yet. So we're going to follow in the steps. I'm going to open up a web browser. I'm going to use Internet Explorer. You can use anything you want for this. And I'm going to say first step number one, download and install the Java JDK. I'm just going to copy and paste this link into my web browser. And if I can find Windows again, there it is. And press return. And lo and behold, I go to the Oracle site. Maybe I can make this a little bit bigger here. Make it a little bit bigger. There we go. What have I got? If I go to there, I'm just going to the basic. It's owned by Oracle now, if you haven't noticed. I'm just going to go to the basic site, and if I look in the Java SE, we want the SE version. We don't need the EE version. We want the SE version for this. And it appears that looks like we're up to 7. Wow, we've gone up a little bit, so it's a good thing. 7. Wow, the last one I had on here was 6. So as of this is December 2011. As of December 2011, the current version is this guy right here. Is what we want. You don't need the FX, the NetBeans. Do not. I wouldn't bother with NetBeans. Actually, I don't like it. But a lot of students do like it. So. If you have NetBeans and you want, or you don't have NetBeans and you want Java with NetBeans, here's the bundle here for it. This is the EE I was talking about. You don't need the EE for the Android class. So just install the Java JDK, and if you click on this little link right here, it'll take you to the download page. No, it'll give you a message. Let's see what happened here. Let me try that again. Okay. When all else fails, try it again. Real live demo when error messages happen beyond your control. Well, that worked. Okay, so I clicked on it again. It worked. You've got to make sure you accept the license agreement. I'm going to accept it. And I'm working on a Windows x86. This is not a 64-bit processor, it's a 32-bit, so I'm going to select this option right here to download this version right here. And I'm just going to press save, and it's going to save it to my desktop. So here's now where you can pause the video, go to the link, download it. We got a pretty fast connection this morning, so I think it looks like this is about 3 minutes on here. So I'm just going to let the video run. But you might find this part boring, so you can definitely pause or skip ahead on the video. Or if you're doing this simultaneously, I guess you can race with me and see if your download's going to finish before mine does. So let's see, we're about 13% or so. I don't need this window anymore. I can actually close this window here. Get ready for part 2. And as I look ahead for part 2, well, it looks like I have to install it. So I didn't put any instructions on my little how-to video here, but I'm going to demo it in a few minutes. When you install, use the JDK, the SE version. We did that. And we don't need to install the Java DB, which is the Java database. So when I get ready to install it, I'll have to remember I don't need that. I'm kind of a minimalist. I don't like to download. I don't like to install something unless I need it. I'm not going to use the database features, and you're not going to use it in the Android development, so you don't really need to do that either. So this is plugging away. Looks like it's 32% done. As I mentioned before, you can tune me out right now. Wait for a few minutes. It's almost done. Pause the video if you want. So I'm gonna, as I sit here and watch this, watch the clock tick. It's actually going pretty fast. It's not too bad. It's at 41% now. Let's see. After we get done downloading the JDK and installing that, we're gonna do a little configuration to our system. We're gonna add the Java bin to our path, and we're gonna basically run through the steps to doing that by going into the control panel, clicking on the system icon, going into the advanced button on the bottom of the screen, and I'll show you how to do that. After we do that, we're actually done with the Java part, and at that point we just have to test it. So I'm going to scroll up here so I'm on step number 2 when I go back to it. Meanwhile, 57%, we're almost done. 58%, it's actually going a lot faster than I anticipated, which is nice. Terrible part is, you know, sitting and waiting for something to download. Then you leave the room, you come back, and the download has failed. An hour later, you realize, oh, I should have restarted this. So I sort of like to watch my downloads sometimes. That way, I can catch it when it fails, if it does fail. So. It's 70%, the boring part of the video. Okay, as it continues. I guess I could tell you jokes at this time, but don't really have any jokes. So, well, not today, I guess. Maybe I should think of some jokes. Let's see, 77%, 78%, 79. I'm not going to count it down. Well, once this installs, I'm going to show you a little shortcut that I actually like to do, which is probably not the recommended thing. I like to make things simple. So I usually rename the directory after the install happens so that I can add it to the path, and I can kind of sort of keep it generic without having to worry about all the long path names of all the version numbers that you get with Java. So I'll make sure I do that as well. 91, well, it looks like we're almost there. So, let's give it a few more minutes. 93%, 94. Hopefully yours is downloading. If yours does not download, I would pause the video, wait for yours to finish downloading, depending upon your internet speed. And this took, I want to say about 4 minutes maybe. Haven't been watching the clock really. Okay, so the download's complete. I'm going to select OK, and here's my little icon. I'm going to double click on the icon, and hopefully I won't get any errors, and I don't. So I'm going to run it. It's kind of an old version of XP. This is Windows XP, by the way. You might be running it on a Windows 7 machine. If so, it's going to be very similar. So I'm going to make this a little bigger so you guys at home can kind of read the prompts here. Welcome to the install. Okay, this is the SE Development Kit 7, update number 1. Looks like we're very new on the 7, first update. Wizard's going to guide you through the install. Okay, click the next button. This is the part. So we got development tools, demos, and examples. We want the development tools. Do we need the public JRE? Why not? If this is version 7, most likely the JRE has been updated, so I'm going to keep that as well. Looks like the option for the Java database has been removed, which is kind of nice actually, because I didn't like that. Yes, click on that. No, I don't have any. The database used to be on this screen. It's not on here anymore. So let's just go with the defaults, and I'll update that, take that comment out. But you don't need to install the database. Perhaps if you've got a future one. Looks like, well, now that Java Sun is owned by Oracle, I would say that the database should probably be replaced with the Oracle database. So maybe that's what they did. Who knows? But Java used to have its own separate database engine that was installed with the JDK. That was what was referred to, and I was mentioning it was optional. You didn't have to install it, but it seems like it's not an option anymore, so we don't have to worry about that. So we're installing the classes, we're removing files. Oh, what do we have here? Destination folder. Oh, this looks good. Well, it looks like they simplified things as well. I'm going to go next. I'm just going to click on all the defaults. Copying files. I like the new screens actually. Looks like they upgraded the interface a bit, made it more colorful. The red for the Oracle, red and white. So I'm installing the JRE, which is the Java Runtime Environment, as well as the JDK. And project registration information, I'm not going to click on that. Instead, I'm going to look at this and say that the SE Development Kit 7 Update 1 was successfully installed. I'm going to click Finish. And lo and behold, hopefully I won't get an error message. I'm going to be taken to a website instead. Let's see what I got. Along with this nice little security warning. I'm not going to register it. I'm going to save that. Who knows, maybe I'll get some registration errors. So I'm going to close that window. Now I'm going to see what was actually installed. So what I'm going to do is kind of, because you don't get an icon, as you notice, here actually let me go back. You're not going to get anything here. In fact, if you go to the Start menu, Programs, I don't see anything for Java on here either. And this is like one of the most disconcerting parts of it, because it's like, wait, didn't I just install something? I'm not going to throw that away. I'm going to wait for a few minutes. Then I'm going to go to the Windows Explorer now. Make this a little bigger. And I'm going to go to My Computer. I'm going to go over to the local drive. And I'm going to look in Program Files. And I'm going to look in Java. And lo and behold, in Java, I've got, look at that, I've got the JRE and I've got the JDK 1.7.0, which is the version 7.1, update 1.7. So this is where I said I'm going to make things easier for myself. I'm going to rename this directory. And I'm going to rename it because I don't want to have to keep typing in JDK 1.1. So I'm just going to go like this and hit rename. And I'm just going to say it's the JDK. May not be recommended for programs that require a particular Java version number to be in the directory name. I don't know of any programs that require that, however. But all of the files that we're looking at in terms of the JDK are going to be in the bin directory. I go to the bin directory. Now I see Java. Here's the Java file. There should be a Java C in here as well. There's a Java C. So I might actually have this in my path already, but I'm going to take a look real quick to see what would happen right now if I were to just type in Java C in Java at a DOS prompt. Java's going to work. Java C is going to work too, but I have a strange feeling I've already added this to my path. What I did was a few minutes ago is I opened up the DOS window and I typed in Java. And I got this stuff instead of bad command or file name in Java C. I got this stuff. So looks like things have been installed. You might actually get an error message when you do that because there's a step we have to do. And in fact, I may have left it from the last time I had this installed, the last time I've done these videos. And the step was to add this directory to the path to make it so that the command works from anywhere outside a Java bin. So just to review a little bit, Just so you know what I'm talking about here, just in case I've gone too fast, I'm in the program files directory and in a subdirectory called Java, and I've got two things in here. I've got the JDK, which is the Java Development Kit, which is my primary interest. In the bin directory, which is a subdirectory of the JDK, I've got those Java, here it is, and the Java C file. We also have Java Doc and all of the Java, oh, Java RMI is in here too, this is nice. All of the Java stuff that we need to work with. And it looks like, you know what, it installed the database for me. Oh well, looks like I have it whether I wanted it or not. It didn't give me an option to remove it. And there's a Java JRE also installed for that version. But if you have this, that means the program installed correctly. And rename that to JDK and you'll see why in a few minutes. So the step number 2 in the Java install is to add Java bin to your path. And we're going to choose the Start, Settings, Control Panel, then double click on System, go into the Advanced tab, and then click on Environment Variable button, and then add it to the lower box where we're going to see System Variables. So I know it's kind of fast. Let me show you how to do it. I'm going to Start menu, and I'm going to go to Control Panel. Here's my Control Panel. It might be different for Windows 7 as you are probably going to experience. I'm going to double click on the System icon, and I'm going to go into the Advanced tab here. And in the Advanced tab, I'm going to have Environment Variables right there on the bottom. You know, they should make it a little bit bigger. In fact, you know, Windows 7 is going to be in a different location for you anyway. But if you're on a Windows XP machine, it's in the Advanced. It's still going to be in System, and it's still going to be in the Control Panel on Windows 7, I believe. I'm going to hit on Environment Variables. And then in the lower box here, if I click on Path, and Path is the key here. We've got some other stuff in here, path, called path, you know, extensions and processors and temp and stuff like that. We don't actually have to add a class path either for the tools that we're working with. All we have to do is double click on this one, and yeah, lo and behold, it is in here. So I've got program files, Java, JDK, bin in my path already. And that's why I renamed that to JDK. But this is what you're adding to your path. You have to make sure, it doesn't have to be the last item, but it has to be in the path. If it is, if the last item is something like, what did I do? I have the Android tools in here too, it looks like. Oh, I do. You've got to separate each one of the items with a semicolon. That is a semicolon, although it looks like a if I made it a little smaller, I might be able to tell the difference. It looks like a colon, but that's a semicolon. So you have a semicolon in there, and you go see colon / program files, Java JDK / bin. If you want to at this point, I guess you could edit all at once and add the Android tools in here too. If you do that, you're going to have C : Android / tools / you're going to add that into the path as well. I have those two items in here from the last time. Although I uninstalled everything, I left the path alone, it looks like. If you haven't never installed it before, you don't have it in your path. If you had it previously installed on your computer, you might still have the path set correctly. But go ahead and, it's not a bad idea to verify it, because it might be set to an older version of Java, if you had an older version on there. But I renamed the JDK directory to JDK, so there's only going to be one variable in my path here for the JDK. Okay, so after you've verified that, press on OK, and we're going to go back here. And then press on OK again, and then OK again, and then close this window, and essentially we can close this window. And if you're smart, you're probably going to want to verify it. So if last time you came up to this window when you typed in Java C or Java, if you had an error message, or if you still had that unrecognizable command, you should be looking at this right now. So type in Java C, and I'm going to get the parameters. If I've done that, I'm halfway there because now I have Java installed. So I'm going to exit out of this window. I'm going to throw this one away because I'm a minimalist. I don't like garbage on my computer. So I've thrown that one away. And now I'm going to go back and proceed forward. So I just did step number 1, which was downloading and installing the Java. And I just did step number 2. I added Java bin to my path. Well, it was already there. If you are Still doing step number 2. Pause the video and focus on step number 2 right now and finish this step because you're going to need this working. You don't have to reboot the computer after you have added it to your path, but it's not a bad idea actually. In fact, every time you install anything, it's not a bad idea to reboot the computer. But I'm not going to reboot mine because I'm lazy. And I don't seem to have a problem at this point. So you add a semicolon at the end of the path and you put in the new stuff. So this is what you're going to put in.